Today, we embark on a fascinating exploration of one of history's most enduring tales, Noah's Ark, a story that has captivated imaginations for centuries, but when examined through the lens of modern science, presents a series of intriguing challenges. Let's consider the logistics, starting with the numbers. Our earlier discussions revealed that Africa alone is home to over 1,100 mammal species. Globally, the count soars, with thousands of species of mammals, birds, reptiles, and more, each with unique needs and ecosystems. Take, for instance, the daily diet and excrement production, a small group of animals, including 14 cows, sheep, goats, and pairs of lions, tigers, bears, rhinos, elephants, zebras, giraffes, and hippos, would produce over 61,000 pounds of feces in just a month. Imagine the scale for all species. Now, let's address the ark itself. According to the biblical account, the dimensions were 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. In modern measurements, this is approximately 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Could such a vessel sustain the sheer number of species, their food, and care needs for an extended period? From a logistical and biological standpoint, this seems highly improbable. Moreover, we must consider the diversity of habitats and ecosystems. From deserts to rainforests, from Arctic to aquatic environments, each species thrives in its unique habitat. Replicating these conditions on a single vessel presents an insurmountable challenge by today's standards. While the story of Noah's Ark is a powerful narrative filled with themes of survival and hope, scientific analysis suggests that, as a literal event, it poses numerous practical impossibilities. This does not diminish its value as a story, but rather invites us to reflect on its metaphorical and spiritual significance. So, as we ponder this ancient tale, let's appreciate it as a part of our rich cultural heritage, inspiring us to think, question, and imagine.
As we go even deeper into the story of Noah's Ark, many questions arise, particularly about its historical and geographical context. The tale, as told in the Bible, places Noah in an unspecified location, traditionally believed to be in the ancient Near East. The idea of a global flood, covering even the highest mountains, presents logistical challenges. How could Noah have spread the word without modern communication or transportation? It's improbable that he could have reached people on other continents, let alone gather animals from regions as diverse as the Americas, Australia, or the Arctic. This leads some scholars to propose that if the flood did occur, it might have been a massive local event, perceived as encompassing the whole world by those within that limited geographical area. As for the moral and philosophical questions, the fate of innocent lives, the presence of evil represented by the devil, these aspects delve into the realms of theology and ethics. The story, in many ways, reflects the human struggle to understand and grapple with the existence of suffering and evil. In this context, the story of Noah's Ark isn't just a literal account, but a rich, symbolic narrative. It speaks to the human condition, our search for meaning in the face of catastrophe, and the hope for renewal and redemption. So, while the historical and logistical realities of Noah's Ark may be contentious, its enduring power lies in its ability to inspire, to pose profound questions about humanity, morality, and our place in the world. In the end, stories like Noah's Ark carry lessons and reflections that transcend time and place, inviting each generation to interpret and understand them anew.
As we delve deeper into the narrative of Noah's Ark, it's intriguing to draw parallels with another ancient tale, the Epic of Gilgamesh. This epic, one of the earliest known works of literature, hails from ancient Mesopotamia
and she became
predating the
pregnant
biblical
by
story
him
by
and
centuries.
bore him a son, and his body was white as snow, and
In this
red
epic,
as a rose.
we encounter
The
a flood
hair
story
of his
strikingly
head
similar to
as
that of
white
Noah's
as
Ark.
wool, and his them are beautiful. And as
The
for
protagonist,
his eyes,
Gilgamesh,
when he opened
meets
them, the whole
Utnapishtim,
house glowed like the
who
sun.
shares his own
Rather,
account
the whole
of a
house
great flood.
glowed even more exceedingly. And when he arose
Utnapishtim was
from
instructed
the
by a
hands
god
of the
to build a boat,
midwife, he
gather
opened
his family
mouth
and pairs of
spoke
animals, and
to
survive a
Yahweh
catastrophic
with
deluge.
righteousness, and his father Lamech was afraid of
Parallels
him
are
and fled,
fascinating.
and went to
Concept
Methuselah
of a
his
divine
father
warning,
and said to him,
a sole
I have
survivor chosen to
begotten a
preserve
strange
life,
son. He is
the
not
gathering
like
of
an
animals,
ordinary human
and the
being,
great flood
but he
that
looks
wipes out
like the children of
humanity.
the angels of heaven.
It raises
To
questions
me,
about the
his
transmission of
form is
ancient
different,
stories,
and he is
their
not like
evolution
us.
over
His
time,
eyes are like the
and the
rays of the
common
sun,
themes that
and his
resonate
face
across
glorious.
different
It does
cultures.
not seem to me that he is of me,
This resemblance
but of the
between the
angels,
Epic of
and I fear
Gilgamesh
that
and the
a
biblical
wondrous
flood story
phenomenon
suggests a
may
shared
take place
cultural
upon the
memory
earth
of a
in
significant
his
event.
days. So I am beseeching you
Or
now,
perhaps a
begging
common
you in
desire
order
to
that you may
understand the
go to
human
his
experience through
grandfather
grand
Enoch,
narratives of
our
destruction
father,
and rebirth.
and learn from him the truth. For his dwelling place is amongst the
Incorporating
angels.
the story
When
of Gilgamesh
Methuselah
into
heard
our
the words of
reflection
his
on
son,
Noah's Ark
he
enriches our
came to
understanding.
us at the end of the earth, for he had heard
It
that
invites
I was
us
there.
to explore
He
the
cried
deeper
aloud, and
connections
I heard
between
his
ancient
voice, and
civilizations,
came to him.
their
And I
mythologies,
said to
and how
him,
these
Behold, my
tales have
son,
shaped our
here I
collective
am.
consciousness.
Why have you come here? Then he answered me and said, On
Both
account of a
stories,
great distress,
while subject to scientific
have
scrutiny,
I come to you. On
continue to be
account of a
powerful
grievous
symbols of human
vision,
resilience,
I have come here
hope,
now.
and the enduring
My
quest
father,
to make
hear
sense
me,
of
for
our
unto
world.
my son Lamech a son has been born.
Thank you for
One
joining us
whose
on this
image
enlightening
and
journey
form
through
are
ancient
not
tales and
like
modern
unto the
insights.
characteristics of human beings, and his color is whiter
If you found
than
this
snow,
exploration
and redder than a
fascinating,
rose, and the hair
don't
of his
forget
head
to
is
like and
whiter than the
subscribe
white
for more
wool,
intriguing
and his
content.
eyes are like the rays of the
Your
sun.
engagement
When he
helps us
opened
delve
his
deeper
eyes,
into the
the whole
mysteries of
house
history and
lighted
culture.
up, and when he rose up
And
in
we'd
the
love to
hands
hear
of
your
the
thoughts.
midwife, he opened his mouth and blessed Yahweh
What did
of
you find
heaven.
most intriguing about the
Enoch
connections
told him to
between
call
Noah's
the
Ark
child
and the
Noah.
Epic of Gilgamesh?
You can pause and read for the rest.
Do you see these stories differently
Female
now?
version of Noah. White
Leave your comments
skin,
below.
woolly hair.
Let's spark a
But in
conversation.
reality, this is what Noah would look like.
Remember,
In a time where
every like,
everybody was black,
subscribe,
Noah was
and
the odd
comment
one out. And
not
that's
only
a fact.
supports our channel,
Shalom.
but also
Read the book
builds a
of Enoch.
community of curious minds. Together, we can continue to uncover the stories that have shaped our world. Again, thank you for your support. Stay tuned for more content that promises to enlighten, engage, and inspire. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep sharing your insights.
Ham and his followers have this remarkable view of a worldwide flood that somehow influenced everything that we observe in nature. A 500-foot wooden boat, 8 zookeepers for 14,000 individual animals, every land plant in the world underwater for a full year. I ask us all, is that really reasonable? You'll hear a lot about the Grand Canyon, I imagine, also, which is a remarkable place, and it has fossils. And the fossils in the Grand Canyon are found in layers. There is not a single place in the Grand Canyon where the fossils of one type of animal cross over into the fossils of another. In other words, when there was a big flood on the earth, you would expect drowning animals to swim up to a higher level. Not any one of them did. Not a single one. If you could find evidence of that, my friends, you could change the world. One of the extraordinary claims associated with Mr. Ham's worldview is that this giant boat, very large wooden ship, went aground safely on a mountain in the Middle East, what we now call the Middle East. And so places like Australia are populated then by animals who somehow managed to get from the Middle East all the way to Australia in the last 4,000 years. Now, that to me is an extraordinary claim. We would expect then, somewhere between the Middle East and Australia, we would expect to find evidence of kangaroos. We would expect to find some fossils, some bones. In the last 4,000 years, somebody would have been hopping along there and died along the way, and we'd find them. And furthermore, there's a claim that there was a land bridge that allowed these animals to get from Asia all the way to the continent of Australia, and that land bridge has disappeared in the last 4,000 years. No navigator, no diver, no U.S. Navy submarine. No one's ever detected any evidence of this, let alone any fossils of kangaroos. So your expectation is not met. It doesn't seem to hold up. Another remarkable thing I'd like everybody to consider, inherent in this worldview, is that somehow Noah and his family were able to build a wooden ship that would house 14,000 individuals. There are 7,000 kinds, and there's a boy and a girl for each one of those. So it's about 14,008 people. And these people were unskilled. As far as anybody knows, they had never built a wooden ship before. Furthermore, they had to get all these animals on there, and they had to feed them, and I understand that Mr. Ham has some explanations for that, which I frankly find extraordinary, but this is the premise of the bit. And we can then run a test, a scientific test. People in the early 1900s built an extraordinarily large wooden ship, the Wyoming. It was a 6-masted schooner, the largest one ever built. It had a motor on it for winching cables and stuff. But this boat had a great difficulty. It was not as big as the Titanic, but it was a very long ship. It would twist in the sea. It would twist this way, and this way. And in all that twisting, it leaked. It leaked like crazy. The crew could not keep the ship dry. And indeed, it eventually foundered and sank, loss of all 14 hands. So there were 14 crewmen aboard a ship built by very, very skilled shipwrights in New England. These guys were the best in the world at wooden shipbuilding. And they couldn't build a boat as big as the Ark is claimed to have been. Is that reasonable? Is that possible? That the best shipbuilders in the world couldn't do what 8 unskilled people, men and their wives, were able to do?